Why yelling doesn't work, and what to do instead. Have you ever heard yourself yell at your child and almost immediately wished you hadn't? Unfortunately, yelling rarely teaches the lesson we hope it will, and can actually make the behavior even worse. Today we're talking about why yelling doesn't work, what's really happening inside your child's brain when voices get louder, and most importantly, what you can do instead that actually strengthens your relationship while encouraging better behavior. Hi everyone and welcome back. As a parent, you will experience those wonderful days that are filled with laughter, hugs, and unforgettable memories, but also there will be those days, the ones where you've asked your child to do something 5 times. Or you'll get the toddler screaming, the baby won't stop crying, your teenager seems to ignore every word you say. You're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, and before you even realize what's happening, you yell. Almost every parent has been there, I know I have. The important thing isn't pretending we're perfect. The important thing is learning why yelling happens and discovering healthier ways to respond. Because every day gives us another opportunity to grow alongside our children. Why do loving parents yell? Here's something we don't talk about enough. Most parents don't yell because they're angry people, they yell because they're overwhelmed people. Think about everything parents carry every single day. You're managing schedules, preparing meals, working, cleaning, helping with homework, worrying about finances, trying to keep everyone healthy. Basically, making decisions from the moment you wake up until the moment your head finally hits the pillow. That's a lot. And when stress keeps building without enough time to recharge, our patience starts running low. Sometimes yelling isn't really about what your child just did, it's about everything that's been piling up inside us. That doesn't make yelling helpful, but it does make it understandable. And recognizing that is the first step toward changing it. Why we think yelling works. Here's where things get confusing. Sometimes yelling appears to work because your child suddenly stops, they become quiet, they pick up the toys, they get dressed. So naturally we think, well, that worked. But did it? Or were they simply reacting to fear or surprise? There's a huge difference between stopping a behavior and teaching a better one. Yelling may get immediate compliance, but it rarely builds lasting cooperation, and that's an important distinction because as parents, we're not just trying to get through today, we're raising adults. What's happening inside your child's brain? Think about the last time someone yelled at you. Maybe it was your boss, maybe another driver, or maybe even someone you love. Did you immediately become calm? Did you suddenly think more clearly? Probably not. Your heart likely started racing, your muscles tightened, maybe you felt embarrassed, maybe defensive, or even a little scared. Children experience something very similar. When they're yelled at, their brain shifts into survival mode. Instead of focusing on learning, their brain focuses on protection. In that moment, they're much less able to process what you're trying to teach. They're simply trying to feel safe again. That's why yelling often interrupts learning instead of encouraging it. Fear isn't the same as respect. A quiet child isn't always a child who's learning. Sometimes, they're simply afraid. Fear can create obedience for the moment, however, respect creates cooperation for a lifetime. Children who feel emotionally safe are far more likely to listen, communicate honestly, admit mistakes, and come to us when life becomes difficult. And isn't that the relationship we're really hoping to build? One where our children trust us, not because they're afraid of us, but because they know we're on their side. The hidden cost of yelling. Yelling doesn't just affect the moment, it can slowly shape your relationship. Some children become anxious, some become defiant, while others simply stop sharing what's happening in their lives. Not because they don't love their parents, but because they don't want another conflict. Think about that for a moment. As parents, we often yell because we desperately want our children to listen. Ironically, repeated yelling can make children tune us out. When loud voices become common, they begin to lose their impact. Children may even start expecting them. And that's not the family atmosphere most of us hope to create. So now we know that yelling might stop a behavior in the moment, but it doesn't teach our children the skills they need for the future. The good news? There are better ways. These strategies aren't about letting children get away with bad behavior. They're about teaching instead of intimidating. Will they work every single time? No, because children are human and so are we. But over time, these approaches build something much more valuable than obedience. They build trust, confidence, respect, and a relationship that lasts long after childhood is over. Strategy 1. Regulate yourself before correcting your child. This may be the hardest step of all. Before we can help our children calm down, we have to calm ourselves. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. That's easy to say when you're not the one cleaning spaghetti off the walls or dealing with a child who's ignored you for the 10th time today. Believe me, I understand, but here's what I've learned. When we're overwhelmed, our brains react instead of respond. Even a pause of 5 or 10 seconds can change everything. Try taking one slow breath, relax your shoulders, and lower your voice instead of raising it. You don't have to solve the problem immediately. You just need to stop yourself from making it bigger. Children often match our emotional energy. The calmer we become, the easier it is for them to settle too. Strategy 2. Get close instead of calling across the house. How many times have you called your child's name from another room? I know I've done it. Sometimes we ask once, then a second time, and then 5 times. Eventually, frustration takes over and suddenly we're yelling. Instead, try this. Walk over to your child, get down to their eye level, make gentle eye contact, then speak in a calm voice. It's amazing how much more children hear us when we first make a connection. Sometimes the shortest distance between frustration and cooperation is simply walking into the same room. Strategy 3. Connect before you correct. Imagine your child has just hit their sibling. Instead of immediately shouting, "What is wrong with you? Why would you do that?" Try saying, "I can see you're really upset right now, but hitting isn't okay. Let's figure out what happened." Children are much more willing to listen when they feel understood. And honestly, isn't that true for us as adults too? Strategy 4. Replace threats with teaching. It's easy to fall into saying things like, "If you don't stop right now, you never listen." But those words usually create power struggles instead of problem solving. Instead, focus on teaching. It's questions like, "What happened? What were you feeling? What could you do differently next time?" These conversations help children build emotional intelligence. They're learning far more than how to avoid getting into trouble. They're learning how to solve problems. And that's a skill they'll use for the rest of their lives. Strategy 5. Use natural consequences. Sometimes life can be the teacher. That's where natural consequences often speak louder than yelling ever could. If your child forgets their homework, they may have to explain it to their teacher. If they leave a favorite toy outside and it gets dirty or damaged, that's an opportunity to learn responsibility. Our role isn't to rescue them from every consequence. Children remember lessons much longer when they experience the results of their choices. Remember the bigger picture. When we're in the middle of a difficult day, it's easy to believe that every little battle is a huge one. But take a step back for a moment. Years from now, your child probably won't remember whether their toys were picked up by 7 o'clock. They won't remember the socks left on the floor or the spilled milk. What they'll remember is how they felt in your home. Did they feel loved, safe, accepted, encouraged? Did they know they could come to you when life became hard? That's the relationship we're building every single day. If today's video encouraged you, I want you to leave with this simple thought. Some days you'll stay calm, some days you'll lose your patience, and some days you'll wish you could hit the rewind button. That's parenting. What matters most is that you're willing to learn, to grow, and to reconnect. Your children don't need someone who gets everything right. They need someone who loves them enough to keep trying. And if you're here watching videos like this, I already know you're that kind of parent. You're investing your time because you care. You're looking for better ways because your relationship with your child matters. That alone says so much about the kind of parent you are. Be patient with your children. But don't forget to be patient with yourself too. If you found this video helpful, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments. What's one strategy you're going to try the next time you feel yourself getting ready to yell? Your idea might encourage another parent who's reading through the comments today. And if you know another mom or dad who could use a little encouragement, please share this video with them. We're building a community where parents support one another, learn together, and remember that none of us has to do this alone. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you won't miss future videos filled with practical parenting tips, encouragement, and real-life advice. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Take care of yourself, keep believing in your parenting journey, and I'll see you in the next video.